What's happening, YouTube? Anthony on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy FanFilm with a brand new PRLostGalaxy2014 review. And today we're taking a look at Hasbro's Marvel Legends retro-carded Spider-Man Hallow's Eve figure, which I got from GameStop back in May or June, no less, for $24.99, $23.99 if you're a pro member at GameStop, because this figure is a rarity here. Because basically, Hallow's Eve is Hobgoblin, but female. I've never even heard of this variant of a goblin before, because knowing that Hallow's Eve does exist in the Marvel Universe, I'd never heard of her prior to getting the figure. But when I bought the figure, I was like, I knew I was going to save this for the occasion, since October is the month of Halloween and all. So I figured today, October 30th, let's take a look at this Hallow's Eve figure real quick and see what she's got, if she's worth adding to the collection or not, especially for any Spider-Man figure for your Spider-Man collection and Marvel collection in general. So here's the front of the package, featuring Hallow's Eve with all of her accessories, you know, retro card with the retro Spider-Man, you know, logo font, and then artwork of Hallow's Eve on this side, and then yeah, and then the figure render. We need to get some light so we can see her a little bit better. And here is the render talking about who she is. Armed with a bag of superpowered Halloween masks, Janine Goodby is on a mission to evade the police and free her beloved Ben Reilly as Hallow's Eve. Okay, that's fair enough about who she is, what she's about. That would explain why she is this. But, you know, so for a Spider-Man Marvel Legends figure in time for Halloween this week, let's take a look at Hallow's Eve. Okay, now that we have Hallow's Eve out of her package, let's take a look at her accessories real quick before we go over the figure, and take a look at her real quick, because since there's not much going for her. So you got two interchangeable hands, two bald fists, and two open, you know, jazz looking hands, you know, for like posing purposes. So you have those hands. And then we take a look at her only major accessory outside of the hands, you know, the change out, is a devil mask and a vampire mask. I'm like, man, and these look like some really creepy looking masks. And look at the detail, especially on the devil one. The devil one is really scary. But then look at the vampire mask too. So I'm like, okay, but why does it also look like that? You know, the vampire mask here looks a little bit like a vampiric version of that ladybug character from Pixar's A Bug's Life a little bit. When you think about it, it kind of look a little bit like it a little bit. So those are the two masks right there. And then we take a look at Hallow's Eve, or female Hobgoblin, let's put it that way. You know, she doesn't look too bad, and, you know, looking at the color schemes, because black and orange are the official colors of Halloween. Sometimes purple and green, because, you know, depending on the color association of the holiday. And I figured, all right, that's, I mean, her entire figure is just a basic color and basic mold with some similar graphicing to, you know, reference the character that she's based on, just taking an existing female Marvel Legends mold and just run with it and just slap these colors on her, and bam, there you go. But and then when I saw the figure, I thought that the hood would be like cloth, where you can just pull the hood off her head and show some hair. But that's not the case here, unfortunately. And I thought the hair you could see too. But you know, actually, this is not a bad figure though. But I can see why she can come off as a peg warmer in a figure I don't think not many collectors are going to want to get in their collection, let alone Spider-Man collection. If you have heard of Hallow's Eve in the Marvel Universe, I mean, definitely would probably pick the figure up if you're interested. I'm not forcing anybody to buy the figure or anything after this review or anything, but you can see a bit of the pumpkin. You can see a bit of the Halloween pumpkin emblem on this, you know, this so-called scarf, if you can call it a scarf. And her little scarf is plastic. I thought it was a cloth scarf, but nope, that's not the case here either. The purse is plastic, so I don't think you kind of can take the purse off, because it feels a little loose on the figure, but just based on how they have things dangling around on her. And yes, the purse can come off a little bit too, but actually just got to keep it on her, you know, at all costs and all times, because that's just how she was presented. I mean, of course, you can take the purse off if you want to, and I don't know if this hood can also come off too, revealing her hair, and I don't think you can, unfortunately. So no, but it's just, again, I've noticed that the parts that her figure is dangling and a little loose, so that's what puts the figure down a little bit for me. And It's just things just won't stay in a certain position. But again, I like the way how the figure came out, but it's just, you got these accessories dangling around on her shoulders and everything, and that's not good. Let's go over her articulation. So her head can turn all the direction, but again, due to these accessories dangling around, and even again, the purse is going to come off. Okay, you know, if the purse want to come off, just take the purse off. We don't need it. We don't need the purse then. Then you can turn her head around all the directions around. And I guess this can come off too. I knew this was going to come off. And just showing all the basic stuff for her. That's it. Nothing else. And I don't know what's with this whole port. It's not like you're going to plug something to her back or anything. Raise her arms up since there's no abdomen, no butterfly joints. You can, articulate the arms forward and backward. You can do some elbow crunches, so her elbow crunches are very present, but most elbow crunches on a lot of the female Marvel Legends I've gotten weren't as prevalent on some figure molds, depending on the female body molds they use for certain characters. You can also do an elbow crunch possibly on this arm, but this is as far as you can go. But how come on her on this arm you can bend it all the way by elbow on this arm, but I don't know why on this arm, on the right arm, you can't for some reason. I don't know why is that. So that's another thing I need to take notice. Abdomen crunches just far as up to the upper, the lower breast area and the upper part of the abdomen. So that's as far as you can crunch her abdomen in those angles in that direction. You can turn her legs around, her legs over and around, stuff like that. So there's that articulation and movement. Then knee crunches and then you got the knee crunches. So the knee crunches are pretty good on this. Ankle pivots is good, even though it feels like a very basic figure, it's just so very basic, just all this color and not much detail flair going for her. That's what I've noticed for a lot of these female Marvel Legend figures that that Hasbro has done. It's like they're just hardly putting enough effort into the designs of these characters and just have them be so basic looking and stuff. And that's kind of why these female characters are not selling as much very well. So that's a problem. Okay, I'm going to put the accessories away, put the accessories back on her because they were off her and stuff for a bit, even when turning her head around. So that's something I did take notice. And so that is my review on Hallow's Eve. So figure is okay. I mean, it's not one of my favorite female Marvel Legends figures and Marvel figures in general, but I just had to add her just to the collection because it was just, I thought, okay, since Halloween was going to be in a few months, like I said, when I got the figure in, May? And then here I am, October. I'm actually reviewing the figure in October because since Halloween is this week after all, and this weekend. So, that's it for my review on Hallow's Eve. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, drop a like, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.